Right, YouTube, I am live, and now that I am live, I can put the car in gear because I'm safe. Anyway, I am getting ready to drive home, and so yeah, as you may or may not have noticed, I have not put out videos for a few days now, and of course I explained that a little bit, what was going on before. I prefer to do my videos at school, but they've been working on the network there, and the speeds have been dismal. I was listening to Pandora on my laptop earlier, and just listening to Pandora, I got some stutters. So that's what has been going on. But hopefully things will be settled soon. It's like it'll be fine for a long time, and then it's not fine, and we'll just have to see what happens, hopefully soon. But anyway, I have this drive home today. I didn't do any drive home yesterday because I actually had my family in the car. That might have been kind of fun, actually, doing a live video with my family. But what we did is I had my family bring my dog to me, and we went to service dog training. And I got some good news last night. Basically, we're at the point in training where we just go in and we get tested and see if she can pass the Canine Good Citizenship Test. And she nearly passed it last night. And the trainers there, they told me that they believed that next week she would pass it. And so that's some really good news, because then she will get her vest and she will be a service dog in training. And service dogs in training are afforded all the same rights as a fully certified service dog. So that means I can start taking her everywhere. I can take her to school. I was going to say I could take her to work, but since I work at the school, it's kind of the same thing. I'll be able to take her anywhere I go, into restaurants, into hotels, onto planes, things like that. So anywhere I go. When I do a concert, I'll be taking her to concerts. When I go to practice, I'll be taking her to practice. And so yeah, anywhere I go, I'll be taking her. And I'll be logging her hours, where she goes, how long she's there, if she socialized with other people, if she socialized with other animals, all this, because they not only have to pass more tests to be fully certified, they also have to have a certain amount of hours in socialization and in training and all that. So anyway, so that is good news. Now, I have had, in the past 2 days, I have had people ask me what she is going to be trained for. And my stock response to that is to just tell people that she will be my PTSD service animal. Wow, it is 64 degrees out according to my car, and the heat is on in here, so I'm going to shut that off. But so that's my stock response, is that she's going to be my PTSD service animal. And I've found that most people, they want more information than that. That doesn't quite sum it up for them. And so they keep asking me, no, but what specifically is she going to do? And so I tell them a little bit, and I figured that's what I would talk about on the drive home today, is what exactly does a PTSD service animal do? Well, there's no perfect response to that, no perfect answer to that, because each one is trained to the needs of their owners, and people, they need different things. And so one thing they all share in common, though, is just to be a presence. It is amazing, and of course you have people who have these emotional support animals. And in fact, I have an emotional support animal, but I never take him anywhere because in most places they are not allowed. And emotional support animals, it's legal to say to not allow emotional support animals in most locations. But their primary thing that they do, and all of them have in common, is to just be a presence. I don't know the science behind it. I suppose I could look up and find the science behind it. But just having the dog there is a huge comfort. So that is one of the purposes that they have, is just to be a presence and to be that comfort. People who have anxiety or who have agoraphobia or who have PTSD, all these different disorders that are essentially types of anxiety disorders or things like that, they find comfort in these animals, and they can keep themselves grounded in the here and now. They can keep themselves from having their mind wander off by just having these animals around. So that is the primary function that she will be serving, is that she'll just be there. Now, animals and these dogs are amazingly, it's amazing what they can do. They become so used to you that they can sense when your adrenaline levels are rising, when that fight or flight response kicks in. And that is a huge thing for anxiety and for post-traumatic stress disorder, is that fight or flight response kicks in, your adrenaline gets high. At that point, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, at that point you are no longer really in control of your thoughts. People, they try to say things like, well, if you realize that you are, anxious, do something to calm yourself down. Well, at that point, it's too late, because your body has already chemically reacted to a perceived situation. When, by the time you realize that you are anxious, there's no rational thought after that. Your body has already kicked that adrenaline into gear. Your system is flooded with this adrenaline, and you're already in that fight, flight, or freeze response. You have to do one of those three things, and that's where your mind is. And so anyway, these dogs, they can sense when your adrenaline levels start rising, and so when they're well trained, there's a number of reactions. Again, each person is different. They can they can help you by just distracting you. I've heard of people who have trained their dogs that when their adrenaline levels get too high, the dog actually nips at their hand, distracting them from whatever's going on. The most common response that I've heard of, though, or the common training, is that the dog will simply just won't leave the person alone. They will, they'll try to cuddle with them. They'll try to nuzzle up against them, basically to get the person to pet them. Anything to get that person's mind off of whatever situation caused them to have these adrenaline levels spike. So that's another huge function of these animals, because without them, once your adrenaline gets to that point, your only real response is to leave the area, to get out of the situation, and that is the worst response for someone going through this, is to leave the area. However, a lot of times that's the only one that they can take. And there is some science behind that. Essentially, you're in a bad situation and your mind is saying, hey, I need to get out of here. And as soon as you get out of there, you feel an overwhelming sense of relief. So your body rewards you for that behavior. So next time something like that happens and you are in that type of situation, your mind is becoming programmed to, hey, I need to leave. That feels good. I need to leave. And, the goal is to integrate back into society, and rewarding yourself for leaving is, you want to avoid that. So these dogs, they help you calm down and be able to stay in situations longer that you could not without them. And so not only are they there just as a companion and to help you, but they are also helping you to retrain your mind. You get through, if you can get through the situation and your adrenaline levels go back down, then your mind is equally rewarding you. Your body is equally rewarding you, saying, hey, we're safe now. You had nothing to worry about in the first place. We're good. And so the level of satisfaction that you achieve over having stayed in that situation chemically rewards your body. So now you are reprogramming your mind. So these dogs, they help you reach that place where you are reprogramming your mind to be able to handle these types of situations. Another thing that the dogs are good with is, and mine actually helped me out with this. I don't remember exactly when. I want to say it was a couple weeks ago. Right now, my dog is still in training, and she's still learning what her limits are, and she's very rambunctious, so we do keep her on a leash at night, so she can't get on my bed. But I want to say it was about 2 weeks ago, somewhere in that neighborhood, where I was having nightmares, and my dog woke me up. She came over, and she started licking my hand, which was laying over the edge of the bed, basically. And of course, in her mind, she doesn't think, oh, he's having nightmares, I need to help. In her mind, she can sense the adrenaline levels again from these nightmares the adrenaline levels in my body that's caused by these nightmares, and she thinks, oh no, he's in distress, I need to find out what's going on. And that's in her mind, that's what it is. So she came over and she started licking my hand, and she woke me up out of having nightmares, and I was able to get my bearings and eventually go back to sleep and get some restful sleep. Other people, they've got their dogs trained. In fact, the trainer that is helping us and is getting us certified, his dog is trained, so if he's having nightmares, the dog jumps up on the bed and lays down on top of him, pinning him down. That's a good response. Now, it will cause a little bit of panic for the person if they're not used to that at first. I would not want to wake up to my arms being pinned down, but I would much rather wake up to my arms being pinned down by a dog than for my wife to try to wake me up and me not realize what's going on and lash out at her, which is a distinct possibility. So his dog, that's the way he's trained, is when he's having nightmares, the dog jumps up and lays down on top of him. So it wakes him up and he's not able to react until he gets his bearings and he gets the dog off. So that's some other things. So the dogs have been proven to be very valuable for people with PTSD or with anxiety. I mean, lots of different things. That they become it becomes a package deal. When you see a blind person with a seeing eye dog, that's just a package deal. It becomes, hey, this is this is a blind person, that's his dog that's helping him navigate the city safely, and people accept that. Unfortunately, for PTSD, it's still kind of a relatively new concept, and people aren't sure how to react, especially since right now, most people don't know the difference between a service dog and an emotional support animal. So I might as well go over that and explain that a little bit. Any animal any animal can be certified as an emotional support animal. While I've not seen this personally, I have heard reports of people having cats and dogs and hamsters. I've heard of people having a monkey as their emotional support animal. Any animal can be certified as an emotional support animal. Now, most people who have these emotional support animals expect people to treat them as if they are service animals, but they're not. And it looks like I had a very bad connection there for a second. Hopefully it didn't stutter too much. But yeah, people expect other people to treat these emotional support animals as if they are service animals, and they are not. These emotional support animals, most places are completely, like I was saying before, they are completely and totally within their rights to turn away emotional support animals. I used to bring my emotional support animal to school, and I stopped before the policy was enacted, but they actually sent out a policy saying, hey, emotional support animals are not allowed on campus, and that is legal. And the reason is because emotional support animals require no training to get any type of certification. All you got to do is you go online, take a picture of your animal, and say, hey, here, this is my emotional support animal. You pay $25 or $30, something like that. They're put into a registry, and they send you this little ID that says emotional support animal, and boom, there you go. However, a service animal has so many rights. Essentially, the easy way to think about it is, if there's a service animal, I can take him literally anywhere, and the only way that they can ask me to leave is if my service animal is causing a disruption. If this case, if she's barking in the theater, for instance, that's causing a disruption. If she is trying to eat food off of people's plates at a restaurant, yeah, that's causing a disruption. If they mess on the floor, that's causing a disruption. So that's the only way that they can cause, or that other people can ask this emotional support animal to be taken out. But like I said, the issue is that there are so many fake emotional support animals. They're not emotional support animals, service animals. There's so many fake service animals because it's easy to get the patches and things like that. And right now, the laws are written in such a way that you can't tell if they are really a service animal or not. Now, I want those laws to get changed. If you are found to have a fake service animal, I want to say it's a fine of $400, something like that. But the problem is, and I was talking to a doctor who owns a local practice in the area. The problem is the laws are written in such a way that it's hard to find out if these are emotional support animals or not. Oh man, my fuel level is low, but I can make it home. And what it is, he said that he read the laws because they had a person come in and get all huffy when they tried to figure out what the laws were for service animals. And they were doing allergy testing at the doctor's office. So they simply said, wait here while we figure out how to handle this. And the person got mad and left and threatened to sue and all this. But so it turns out that when someone brings an animal somewhere, you are allowed to ask them 2 questions. Is that a service animal? And if they say yes, you are allowed to ask, has it been trained? If they say yes, you are not allowed to inquire any further than that. And again, you can't get rid of them unless the animal starts causing problems. In the case of allergies, now this is where it gets really bizarre. This is where it gets really bizarre. Due to the Americans with Disabilities Act and the way it interacts with these service animal laws, let's say I took my service animal into a classroom, and it turns out that 75% of people in there are allergic to dogs. And again, this is crazy. I would not do this. This is crazy. They are not allowed to put me in a special classroom due to my service dog. What they have to do is they have to tell people with the allergies either, hey, tough luck, or we will provide you with an alternative. They cannot try to send me to an alternative class. They must provide those with the allergies an alternative class, if anything. So if I walk in class and there are 75% of the people in my class are allergic to dogs, and I were of the disposition to, be this way, well, my class would diminish by 75%. Now, what I would do personally is I would tell them, hey, this is my service animal. According to the Americans with Disabilities Act, I have to be given equal opportunity to pass this class. What I would then do is I would ask, hey, how can we solve this? And I would not try to force other people out of the class. I would try to do things like, well, maybe if the class notes are put online, I can just not attend class and then take tests on an off day. Things like that. That's how I would go about it personally. I would not try to force out anybody out of the class. I would try to work and see what kind of solution we could come up with. But yeah, so the laws are written so heavily in favor of those with service animals that it is crazy. But like I said, because of that, it makes it easy to fake having a service animal. And now here's the thing, this is a sad thing, but according to my trainers, the place you will find the most fake service animals is in VA hospitals, in Veterans Affairs hospitals, and places of care. That's the place you'll find the most fake service animals, and that is unfortunate. I wish it weren't like that, but I am upset that these people have these fake service animals, but I'm more upset that they feel like that's what they had to do, because I know how hard it has been to get into a program to get a service animal. Now here's the thing. Actually, I will restate that. To get into a program is actually very easy. It's actually very easy. The issue is finding one. That's the issue. I searched for a year and a half, I believe, before I finally found this program. And you know what? All I had to do was bring them documentation that I was military, and documentation, you can't see me counting on my fingers, there we go. Documentation that I was military, bring them documentation that I was diagnosed with combat-related post-traumatic stress disorder. Actually, I don't even know if it had to be combat-related. I just had to be diagnosed with PTSD, and that was it. And if I had my own dog, they would evaluate the dog to see if they thought it could become a service animal, which I had a dog that we thought about putting into the program, but it's my wife's dog. I don't want to take it away from her. And then besides that, we found out that the dog had some social anxiety. So yeah, we didn't have her tested or examined. But if you don't have a dog, this program is amazing. They will find you a dog, and they will give you this dog. I have not had to pay anything to be in this program. I love this program. So getting into the program is not hard, but finding one is. And so yeah, I am upset that there's all these fake service animals for veterans out there, but I'm more upset that they felt like they had to resort to that. But so anyway, that's my thoughts on the matter. To recap, we talked a little bit about a service animal's function and the laws about service animals, the difference between emotional support animals and service animals, and a little bit about the problem of fake service animals. So if you've got anything to say about anything I talked about, don't forget to comment in the comments below. And if you've got any other questions about service animals, or maybe there is a veteran out there looking for a place that can help them get a service animal, leave a comment. Shoot me a message. If I can help, I will. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm Sapper Woody, and it's been fun.